What's up, guys? This is Corey with the Dirt City Gym, back with another deck profile for y'all today. So today we're taking a dive back into the Ultimate Box, which just got released here on the 2nd. It's big tournament legal starting next weekend. Obviously, you can start running it with locals and everything like that. But there's some really cool stuff that I kind of wanted to get into. Primarily, what we're getting into here is the Vegeta leader. He is a blue Vegeta leader. Vegeta and then explosive power Vegeta. So Vegeta's a very, very interesting leader moving forward in the format and the game in general. He brings a lot of interesting mechanics to the game that we've really not seen before in any kind of capacity. So for starters, we'll go off on the front. He has Warriors of Universe 7, which is something that we saw from the Tournament of Power. Basically what this says is that all of our cards that have the special trait Universe 7 have no specified cost, so we can play yellow, blue, green, everything for any energy that we have. So we have a rainbow aspect to the deck already. So it allows us to use things like our Roshis. We can use them for anything that we want. We can charge all black energy and still have access to all of our Universe 7 stuff, which is very strong. And then he has an auto whenever he attacks. If you have at least one Universe 7 in your energy, he gets plus 5k and you draw a card. Which is really like the first ability that we've seen that interacts with our energy in that way, depending on what we have in the energy. But a 15k draw on the front side is always super strong. We're never in a hurry to awaken because we're always applying pressure with our front side leader, and it's super easy to get that auto to activate. And then he has, whenever he awakens, he untaps 2 energy, which again is really good whenever you're trying to apply that pressure, kind of extend your turn. I'm really going for those power turns, kill turns, whatever you'd like to call them. And then on his awakened side, Explosive Power, Son of Vegeta, or excuse me, just Explosive Power Vegeta, he has the same Warriors of Universe 7 ability. He has an auto whenever this card attacks. If you have 3 or more Universe 7 cards in your energy, he gets plus 5k. So he's a 20k whenever he's swinging, which is really strong. He's got the auto whenever he attacks, draw a card, and then his new auto, the one that really makes this leader extremely playable, is that whenever he attacks once per turn, you may take one of your energy cards, put it back to your hand, and then put a new energy down in its place. You do not have to put a new energy down, but you absolutely can if you want to. What's really strong about this is in a couple different ways. A, it allows us to basically bounce back a tapped energy and put down a new untapped energy, so we're effectively untapping an energy every turn. And then B, we're allowed to play with our energy in terms of turn 1, I can charge a super combo and save other cards that are going to help me immediately, because I know once I'm awakened, I can get that super combo back on the fly and use it how I need to. I can charge important cards like tech cards or just kind of late game cards that aren't going to do me any good right now, and then late game they're going to allow me to get those back whenever I want it. They're going to be safe for the most part in your energy. There are ways that our opponent can mess with our energy. They're limited, but there are ways that they're able to kind of interact with our energy. But it gives Vegeta a very interesting versatility and a very interesting edge that, like I said, we've never seen before. We've never really had a leader that interacts with our energy so much. But moving on to the deck list, as you can see, the deck list is pretty straightforward. It's a very standard list. It's very Universe 7 heavy, but while you have the potential to go kind of really off the wall crazy with this leader, I don't think it's necessary. I think something very straightforward like this is just a very easy and safe way to go with Vegeta and still get really good results. I've had great results with this list, including going 8-0 or 9-0 on stream the other night with it, versus a lot of different decks. So there's a lot of versatility, a lot of strength to it. So getting into the list, first up we've got 4 Backbone of Universe 7 Son-Goku. He is our red super combo. He's our Universe 7 super combo, so he's the best super combo we could use for a Universe 7 leader like Vegeta, because he allows us to activate our super combo at 5 life as opposed to 4. Next up we've got 4 Burst Attack Son Gohan. So this is the Tournament Pack Set 4 promo. A very strong card. He's Universe 7 Red Gohan. He costs 3. His specific energy cost is irrelevant to us because we were running Warriors of Universe 7 Vegeta. And he has critical, he's a 15k attacker, and then whenever he swings, he has an auto. If you have 4 or less cards in your hand, draw 2 cards. So he is a great at turn 3 at 3 energy type play. Usually we're running him. We're an ejection based deck, so he's a really good on our turn 3 at 4 energy. Play him down. Our hand should be a little bit lower because we would play the objection the prior turn, so you're able to draw those 2 cards. He's pretty good late in order to apply some critical pressure, especially with Champa. And then getting that extra draw, we're able to dump our hand on defense or even on offense with a prior attack, and then just kind of rebuild that hand up really strong. He also costs 3, so he's a good flute target. After we swing with him, we can bounce him back, put him back in our hand, draw additional cards. So all around, just a great card. If you don't have these Gohans or don't necessarily have an easy way to get a hold of them locally, I would definitely invest in those soon. They are going to be everywhere, and they're going to probably start going up in price. I think they're sitting around non-foil like $10 or so right now, but I would definitely look at jumping on those. Next up we have 3 Furthering Destruction Champa. Just great pressure, gives any of our cards double strike off the combo. Really, it's been kind of a staple card since set 1 in majority of decks. We have a couple different cards that can really take advantage of this. Our leader, obviously, he's swinging for 15k on the front, 20k on the back, so applying that extra pressure there is really nice. Our Gohan has critical, so double strike critical is always super strong as well. And then finally we run Creator Absorbed Mira, which we'll get into a little bit later, but he's great with Champa. So just all around a very good card. And again, it's a card that may not benefit us early in the game, but late game it can be very effective going in for lethal damage and things like that. So being able to just charge this really quick down his energy, turn 1, turn 2, and then later in the game bounce it back to hand and use it as we need it is very strong. Next up we've got 4 Unbreakable Son-Goku. Again, this is like the staple of staple cards in just about 90% of decks that you're going to see right now. It's a pseudo super combo. It gives us an additional super combo. Just pay 1 plus 10k, draw a card. Really good, cycles through our deck. Helps us on defense, helps us on offense. Really great, especially in a deck like this where we're heavy on the energy manipulation. So again, just a very good staple kind of standard card everyone should be playing for the most part. Next up, we've got 4 Ready to Fight Son-Goku. So this is the 1-drop Universe 7 Goku from Tournament of Power. He just comes into play, look at the top 3, grab a Universe 7 card, put it in your hand, shuffle your deck. He's a great turn 1 play. He's a great blue energy. All around, just very good kind of stably card. We're running a lot of Universe 7 cards on the deck, so he's just really good whether we're getting our super combo off of him, getting our Roshis, our Gohans, our Vegetas, whatever it is. Just a very, very good card for the deck. Next up, we've got 4 Unyielding Spirit Trunks. So again, this is just with our energy manipulation. Whenever we combo with this card out of our hand on our turn, we untap one of our energies. So we're able to push for extra damage. We're able to untap to keep energy open for negates on defense, things like that. Very great card. If you're running a blue leader, this is one of the cards you're probably already running. If you're not, you should definitely consider running it. Alright, next up we've got At All Costs Vegeta. He is a 4-drop. We're running 4 of him. He's a 20k base. And then he's got the auto whenever he comes into play, untap one of your energy and draw a card. So effectively he costs 3 for a 20k draw card body. Then he has that auto. Once per turn, you may take 2 life. And then he gets plus 3,000 for every energy that you have in play. So, or excuse me, you have to have at least 5 energy to get this effect. But if you have at least 5 energy, he gets plus 3,000 for every energy. So at 5 energy, he's getting plus 15,000. So he's already just a 35k that you just paid 3 for. And then if you have, he gains triple strike if you have 5 or more energy, and then you destroy one of your opponent's battle cards. So a really great value card. Whenever he comes into play, if you're able to activate his ability, you're drawing 3 cards off of him, so it's plus 2 because he's coming down, minusing out of your hand and everything like that. But he's swinging in for triple strike, which is lethal majority of the time. It's a very strong effect, especially if you can surprise your opponent whenever they maybe they're tapped out or something like that. You can kind of pressure them, get them down to 3. You can drop a Vegeta. A 35k triple strike is very strong at 5 energy. He also allows us to awaken. Being able to drop him at 4, just take the 2 life. Ideally, you're playing him at 5 energy, so you get all of his effects, and he instantly becomes a threat that they have to deal with. And we're only really paying 3 for him, so he's very efficient, very cheap. He's also a 0-cost 5k combo, so very good on offense, on defense. He's another one of those cards you can just put the energy early, take it back, and use it when we never need to, kind of push for game. Alright, next up we have Vegeto. He is our blue Vegeto from the Ultimate Box. Other than our leader, this is really the only card that we're actually using for our from the Ultimate Box. He costs 4, only 1 blue. He's not a Universe 7 card, so we do actually have to have 1 blue in energy, but we have other cards on the deck that are specific to 1 blue energy, so that's not that big of a deal. But he says he's a 0 cost 5k combo as well, but he's a 20k. Whenever he comes into play, if you have 5 or more energy, draw a card. And then when his permanent, whenever this card is in rest mode, if your leader is blue, he gains barrier, and your opponent's cards cannot attack your leader card. So basically, this is similar to what Bergamo is, and Bergamo is being seeing a lot of hype, a lot of play recently. He's very similar to the Bergamo. Whenever he's in rest mode, your opponent can't attack your leader, so you effectively have at least one negate on field. Where he differs from Bergamo is as long as you're a blue leader, he has barrier, so they can't just drop a Foo, drop a Beerus, drop something like that, and just blow him out of the water, kind of get him out of there. They have to attack into him to deal with him. Obviously, he doesn't get the plus 5k that Bergamo gets, but you have a body that's going to stop at least one attack. You can negate off of that, you can Sensu Bean off of that, everything like that. And he's drawing a card for you, and he only costs 4, so it's very strong. A very good card. You drop this out on turn 4, even if you're not getting that extra draw, that 4 energy, you can just kind of play him down to ensure you get to a turn 5 where you're at all cost Vegeta's coming in and is live and is coming in for the triple strike and everything like that. He's just a big body that people have to deal with, and if they don't deal with him, then he kind of adds up. Another place where he differs from Bergamo is with Bergamo, they can only attack Bergamo in rest mode. Whereas with Vegeto, if your other battle cards are in rest mode, they can choose to swing into those and just kind of ignore Vegeto, which typically they're not going to do. They're going to try to get rid of Vegeto as quickly as possible, but that is something to pay attention to. Like your Gohans and things like that aren't necessarily safe if Vegeto's on board in rest mode. Alright, next up we've got our Master Roshi, which is just our Universe 7 negate, which is just a great negate. It's kind of a staple if you're running yellow or running any of the Universe 7 engine. He's just a 1 cost, comes into play, negate the attack, and then he is a 5k combo on the board. Again, ideally you're not charging these as energy, but there's nothing stopping you from charging a Roshi as energy early and just pulling him back late. Another great thing about this Roshi is he is a 1-drop. So he's a great flute target. You use Roshi to defend, and then on your turn you flute him back, get the Roshi back in your hand, draw a card. And then you have another negate down the road later that you can use. If you don't use him to flute him back, then you just got a 5k body on board that can combo out and things like that. Next up, we've got 2-dimensional Banasur Foo. He is a 5-drop, overall for 5. And 1 energy. He has double strike, and then whenever he comes into play, if you play him with Overwhelm, choose one of your opponent's battle cards and send it to the warp. So this is our board removal. It's one of the maybe the best board removal that we have in the game right now. Just for 1 energy, just send somebody to the warp. This deals with Bergamos, this deals with blockers. Where he is stronger than like a Mass Saiyan is that he can actually deal with a blocker, where a Mass Saiyan specifically could not. So he is great, and he is a double striker, so he's a good lethal threat for 1. Again, we're not worried about charging him early. If we need to turn 1, turn 2, charge a black energy, we can just get it back later. It's just a puzzle piece that we can just put down and we can use in kind of our toolbox. That's kind of what our energy becomes with this Vegeta leader, is kind of a toolbox. Oh, I need this threat now. Okay, well, I'm going to bounce this back to my hand now so I can use it later. Or put it down in energy now so I can use it later, and pull it up, pull something back down, and do all really cool interactions there. Then next up we have 2 Creator Absorbed Mirror. As we kind of discussed earlier, he's an overwhelm for 4 and 1 energy. Whenever he swings, his auto is he gets plus 5k for every card in your warp. This is really our like ultimate game ender. Whether they're at 1 or they're at 2, we can combo with a Champa. So effectively, we're swinging in for ridiculous amounts of damage. You can kind of drop your hand early, force negates, force this, force that, and then kind of leave them in a vulnerable position where you just drop the mirror, swing in, and either combo the Champa or just let him swing in for himself if they've only got 1 life. And he's very hard to stop. If he gets through a negate, typically his damage is going through, whether it's with the Champa double strike or just him by himself. He's also really good for just eliminating threats on board if we can't get to our Foo or whatever it is. So let's say like something like a Bergamo or Vegeto that we can't deal with in order to get to our leader. He's a great just 1-drop swing into something, it's going to die. We're not overly worried about it, but he's just a very great attacker. He's a 30k base. If you're using Champa to give him double strike, he's automatically at 40k for 2 with double strike, plus the 5,000 for everything in your warp. So you're really just, like I said, you're pitching cards, powering him up, and then kind of swinging in for a game with him. And then moving on into our extra cards, we have 4, the Legendary Flute. Again, if you're running a blue leader, this is pretty staples, a 0-cost extra card. You can bounce one of either yours or your opponent's battle cards back to their hands or your hand, and if it's one of your cards, draw a card. So again, this is really great for bouncing back our Gohans, bouncing back our Roshis. We can bounce back our Gokus if we really want to, kind of dig through our deck more. And then alternatively, while we're not getting much of a plus for it, if our opponent has a pesky blocker like a Yajirobe or an Android 16 or something like that, we can bounce that back to their hand, so we can kind of go in for game in those type of situations. So really great, versatile card. Again, if you're running blue, you already know this, you're probably running Flute. Next up, we've got 4, Senzu Bean. Again, probably the best card in the game. On defense and on offense, this lets us help. On offense, this helps us extend our plays by untapping our energy, giving our guys plus 5k, and then on defense, kind of the same thing. We're untapping energy, so we have more energy for defense, and then we're giving our leader plus 5k or battle card plus 5k. This helps really kind of stop aggressive pushes with board swarms and things like that. It's great against veggies, great against like Kabbas and things like that, where they're having to commit extra cards from hand to really push that damage in. So Senzu Bean's really great there. And then finally, we have 4 Objection. This is just our energy acceleration. We're running a leader that draws cards on the front, so we're not really as penalized by playing an Objection. Also, with Objection, so typically late game, Objections are dead in hand because we're not wanting to play them. Where Vegeta makes Objection useful late game is all those really better cards that we're putting in our energy earlier to take back. We're able to take those cards back and put an Objection in its place. So now that dead card is becoming an energy later in the game and is getting replaced by a useful card, whether it be a Champa, whether it be a Super Combo, Vegeto, whatever it is that we couldn't use earlier. Now we have access to, and we're getting rid of a dead card out of our hand that we're not able to combo with. That's really like my favorite aspect of Vegeta, is just all these little interactions. Like I said, being able to charge an Objection late game off the ability from the leader. So let's say we're at 5 energy, we tap 1 for a Goku. Let's say we'll tap a Foo to play the Goku. We want to get that Foo in our hand this turn to deal with something. So then we swing with the Vegeta leader. We bounce back the Foo, and then we put an Objection down in its place. So now I effectively untapped an energy, and now I have another threat in my hand that I can play to get rid of something and swing in for game, whatever the kind of situation it is. So Vegeta has incredible amounts of versatility. There's all sorts of strategies that I've heard about. I've not quite tested yet, but I've theory crafted how they work. A lot of really cool, really interesting stuff. But like I said, this is a very straightforward list. We're not doing anything overly spicy with this list. We're playing our good Universe 7 stuff, we're playing our good blue stuff, and we're just being consistent. This list is incredibly consistent. We're running a 4 of majority of our stuff, with the exception of our Overwhelm cards, and then our little like Champas and Vegetos, but all of our main board stuff, our main cards, are 4 of, so we can consistently draw into them and things like that. But anyway, guys, let me know what y'all think about Vegeta. Let me know about what interesting kind of interactions and combinations you're wanting to do with his energy ability on the backside. But that's all we got for you guys, so we will see y'all next time.